We are now recording, and this is all about Wycombe Wanderers, who have won the playoffs, won the final last night at Wembley, and we are now in the Championship. Before we start, though, I just need to mention, before we discuss how great Wycombe are, I just want to mention what Carl Robinson said in his press conference after the game. Apart from things like "well done Wycombe" and "congratulations Wycombe," these are the words, some of the words he used. Wycombe have got through, whether I think it's right or wrong. It's a difference to how we play. On comments about the drinks break, he said it's how the opposition play when they look for breaks in play. It plays into their hands. The game sometimes isn't fair, and today is one of them. The breaks don't help when you are the footballing team. That doesn't sound like a manager who is being very nice. And the last point I want to make about Carl Robinson and his comments about Wycombe Wanderers is that in the playoffs, in the first game against Portsmouth, it was a good goal. Oxford's goal was good. They drew 1-1. In the second game, Oxford drew 1-1, and their goal was a corner that a Portsmouth player got messed up with the goalkeeper and put into his own net. The third goal they've scored was in the final and was meant as a cross that happened to go wrong and go into Wycombe's net. They scored 3 goals, only one of them was an Oxford player shooting on target. They got through to the final on penalties, not because they beat Portsmouth at all. And Wycombe actually scored 8, not 3. And that's all I want to say about Carl Robinson and the great footballing Oxford team. How about you, Kieran? Any comments?
I think some managers have this thing. I think it's fair enough to say that they also have an opinion in which, they have an opinion that means that they are a footballing team and they like to play football in a certain way. Football can be played in different ways, and so in which he believes in his aspect, we believe in ours, and so if he wants to disagree with that, then that's fine, but you should have enough respect for it that you don't make sly little comments. Like he's tried to show us a little bit of respect at the beginning of his press conference, but then he puts a little few things in there. It's just a bit like, you just don't need to say it.
Backstabbing is the word I would call it.
You could call it that, yeah. It's putting it's not saying it outright, but it's implying that he doesn't like us at all, really.
But that's enough about Carl Robinson, because we won't see or hear of him again. We
don't really care,
because he could get the sack, he could leave. But I've seen his skills as a manager, and I don't think we'll ever see him again. Okay, now on to the incredible, amazing, brilliant Wycombe Wanderers. What did you make of last night?
It was just emotional, wasn't it? No. We played exactly how we thought we were going to play, how the stats said we were going to play. I love the little graphic that's got like all the passing stats and everything and the possession. And just Oxford had first, like in Division 1 throughout the whole of it, and we're last. And it's just like, yeah, that's just how we play. We did effectively not a lot all game apart from defence, get a few corners and that.
And a couple of goals.
That's the way we play, isn't it? We fight for everything and we frustrate teams, and they evidently got frustrated, and they got through a few times through Dan Jacobson's side. To be fair to him, they probably didn't have the best of games, Jacobson. But they didn't finish as well. That's their problem.
That's their problem. They weren't good enough.
There was a one in the first half. I think it might have been their right back or their right mid got through and flashed it across goal. Probably should have scored. Well, done better with it at least. And then they had the obvious one where the guy was literally one-on-one with the keeper and tried to pass it when probably wasn't on it. Well, yeah. I would have backed full stop anyway, but should have you're one-on-one with the keeper. Like, why would you not shoot?
I know. Bad decisions. Maybe being such a great footballer, they thought they could walk it over the line.
You're not particularly best pleased with Oxford now, are you?
Well, I only heard these comments a little while ago, and that really did annoy me. And I don't need to worry about it. I've got to get him out of my system because we're going to be playing Derby, Stoke. We're going to be playing Sheffield Wednesday. We're going to be playing Forest. Is this crazy? Yeah. Isn't this crazy? There was a program on TV called Pointless, and people had to come up with names of teams in the bottom divisions and the pointless answers. One of the three was Wycombe. Nobody's heard of Wycombe Wanderers. We're in the Championship. And as you said earlier, what are the interesting things that change for Wycombe now we're in the Championship?
Well, we get international break despite having no players that are anywhere near an international level. Let's be fair, we probably don't.
Jacobson, Welsh.
Jacobson's Welsh, but they're going to have Welsh fullbacks, surely. I would have thought. And Jacobson is 31, 33 sort of age. We've got third round of FA Cup, which is
further than we've reached in a few years.
Further than we've reached in a few years. Might give us a better chance of getting a Liverpool again or a Spurs or someone like that, which would be nice. We might be on TV a bit more.
I want to play Manchester United. I want to humiliate Manchester United.
Yeah, but then Rashford will go and score a hat-trick or something, and then it will be the worst day of our lives.
That's true. We don't want that, do we?
We really don't.
Manager. I mean, we know how Wycombe play football, and it is football, I just might add. I know how Wycombe play football. It's heart-stopping at some of the time because we don't have the ball most of the time.
No,
but that back line is incredible. And how much did he pay for that back line? Do you know?
I think it's zero, isn't it?
It's zero. He didn't pay a penny for Wycombe's back line.
I'm not sure which of the players that we've actually paid for. Fred. I think we paid for Fred, but that was part of
just so that people know who he is. The name on the back of the shirt is
Onyedinma. You wouldn't have known that, would you?
Everybody calls him Fred at Wycombe, just to say. What a great
I'm sure people who are watching this know who Wycombe are, mate, to be fair.
Yeah. And what a great player he is, though, isn't he? He was everywhere on that pitch. He was up front and he was at the back. I never knew where he was going to pop up. He played a brilliant game.
Probably along with Stewart, he was probably our best defensive player as well.
I know.
You could argue.
I know. Mad. And
that's probably a bit disrespectful to players like Grimmer because he kept their left mid quiet a lot of the game. Gape was all over the place, but you never you don't see him, which is quite unfortunate. But he was everywhere.
He was. He shut them down, didn't he? In the midfield, Gape shut them down. He stopped them playing through the middle. Is what he did stop those balls. I know they were trying to play wide, but they didn't have a choice for most of the game because of the way Gape played. I thought Gape, like you say, you often don't hear nor sort of, he's sort of in there doing his thing, and I thought he was excellent. In fact, finding a player who didn't play well yesterday.
Everyone played to a standard you expect of a League One player. There's maybe Charles gave away a few too many fouls to my liking, but apart from that, but then he put in a man of the match performance against Fleetwood in the last game. So,
well, we were lucky that he put in man of the match in the last game and Stewart did this game. I mean,
it's the best game I've ever seen Stewart play. It was absolutely absurd. The amount
it
of
was.
last-ditch tackles he put in.
Yeah, and I also thought the commentator was unfair to Allsop, suggesting he should have saved Oxford's cross.
Yeah, it's just one of those crappy ones where like everyone's expecting a cross into like the middle of the box, and Allsop's got to readjust for one. It wasn't tall enough or ever going to jump high enough to get it anyway because it was dipping under the crossbar.
Yeah, I thought that was unfair, and I think Allsop's had a brilliant 3 games. And they talk about in the Premier League about these teams need sort of warming up ready for the games they played. Wycombe have sat there for 3 months and had to come straight into this. And really, the last thing to talk about would be Wycombe Wanderers manager.
What? Whether we keep him?
Whether we keep him, whether we can keep him. How long do you reckon he'll stay? As long as we're in the Championship?
If we get relegated from the Championship, then I may put question marks over it. If we stay up, then he'll definitely stay. And then we see where it goes from there. I'm not sure Premier League clubs would take a risk yet, purely because on the style of play we've had this season, and they probably wouldn't idealise that. But Championship clubs, I don't think he would go because we're at the same level now.
We are.
And he's had such an affinity with this club, and I don't think he'd want to ruin that in any way by going to.
Do you think we can stay up?
With the current team,
nobody else does.
With the current team, I think teams would pickpocket us. I don't think we'd have a problem getting draws or not losing, but I think we'd struggle to pick up a few wins because I can see us getting a few goals and them getting a few goals, but I'm not sure we can overpower teams in that sort of way.
So how many players in the team Wycombe have can we keep?
No, we can keep all of them. No, none of the players will want to leave.
And how many do we need to get?
I think we need a striker.
We do.
I think we need a couple of...
The fact that our left back is top goal scorer
yes.
Suggests we need a striker.
Yeah, which is somewhat unfair on Samuel and Akinfenwa because some of the time they're not there to score. Well, Samuel evidently isn't. He's there to run them around and win free kicks and stuff, and he does that very well.
He does.
But unfortunately, I say at this level, but we've managed to get promoted to the Championship without having a striker who scores game in, game out, which is ridiculous in my opinion. But I think we need a couple of centre mids or centre attacking mids as well, to be fair. We need someone with a bit of creativity.
Fred in there, he is Championship.
Fred is Championship. I think the back four could be Championship. Allsop, I'd feel sorry for if he's not, but I don't know, really. Because at times this season we have been a little bit frustrated with him. There's no doubt about his shot stopping. He can
brilliant.
Do anything with that. It's about maybe decision making at times.
But you look at the goalkeepers in the Premier League. There's one or two in there you think, yeah. There are, a lot of them in the Premier League aren't better than him.
Maybe not. I think it's hard to judge because they're going up against supposedly better players, and that week in, week out. I'm not sure you can judge it on that. I think shot stopping is as good as anyone in the Premier League. Yeah,
brilliant. Some of his saves are terrific. Tell you, he's better than Fleetwood and Oxford's goalkeeper.
Oh yeah, he didn't do anything that stupid. Well, it did give away a penalty in the first game, to be fair, against Fleetwood.
No, that was never a penalty.
But
You've only got to watch that. He didn't give it away. The ref gave it to them.
Yeah.
That was not a penalty. He did nothing wrong.
I think our penalty last night was interesting for many reasons, purely because the goalkeeper wasn't sent off, which is or yellow carded or just
booked.
anything.
I mean, how was he not booked?
I don't
at the
know.
very least.
You can't just rampage into someone.
He wasn't exactly going for the ball, was he?
Well, he didn't get it, at least, no.
So, away games next year. What are going to be your top 5?
Well, I've got to think about the universities.
Can I just say, Kieran is in Portsmouth at university.
Yeah, so I'll wear my Wycombe shirt and get stabbed, probably. I think Nottingham has got to be one of them, because I had a friend down there.
Nottingham Forest.
In my head, Nottingham Forest like the biggest purely because they won the European Cup. They're probably not the biggest, but like in my head they are.
Yeah. Birmingham,
yes, because a friend down there as well, and in my head they're very big as well. I mean, they are big in general, but like this is from me watching the Premier League since like 2008, and I've got to think.
Yeah, we've got nearby. I mean, we've got all the Londons here. Fulham,
potentially. QPR, Brentford, they may get promoted. I
wouldn't mind going to see Wycombe play Stoke, but it's not.
I think compared to, you can get some better ones, I'd say. Blackburn have got to be up there. They're quite far away, but they've won the Prem, so that has to be a factor. I'm trying to think. We've played Preston recently in the FA Cup, so that's probably not as big for me. Swansea, in my head, is quite big.
We can go and visit your aunt.
Oh yeah, of course I can. Yeah, there you go.
Lives in Wales.
That's possible. I remember. Yeah, that's possible. There's a lot of teams in there. We have to be honest, and if any of them were to be in Division 1, then we'd probably think about going.
It's massive, isn't it? Next year is massive. Okay, last.
Aston Villa.
Aston Villa, yeah, Aston Villa. Goodness sake, got to go to Aston Villa.
Yeah.
Last but not least, what position do you predict Wycombe will finish in the Championship next year? Where would you hope, and where will they?
I think the most we can ask for is like 14th, and I reckon we'll finish 19th. Which is low, but it's not low enough.
Exactly. Let's just hang on in there for
Let's just stay up for a season.
Let's just stay up for a season. And that's what we said about Division 1 this year, wasn't it? Let's just stay up. So what we're saying is, believe in your team. Wycombe Wanderers have actually proved, as Carl Robinson would say, we're not a footballing team. We don't play football, but we've managed to go up to the Championship not playing football. So if Wycombe can do it, have faith in your own team. We've got a brilliant manager. We don't want any of you grabbing hold of him. He's a Wycombe manager. Akin Fenwa, keep him there. Encouragement. What a character. But we have to say Gareth Ainsworth. As I said before, there's a bus in Wycombe named after him. This isn't High Wycombe. This is Gareth Ainsworth Town. Okay. Okay, thanks for joining us. We'll see you at least next year a couple of times when we beat these big teams, and again in the playoffs.
In the Premier League.
That's it.
Lovely.